It was March the 10th, 4 years ago, Mother's Day. We'd just lost my mum 2 weeks previously, and we'd all decided to have Sunday lunch together and remember her and just be at her house and be together. So we'd all gone down in the morning, me and my 2 children, to my stepfather's house. We had some lunch, or making some lunch, and the children were sort of playing in the conservatory. Started to not feel 100%, started to feel a bit sort of cold, flu-like symptoms, but to be honest, we just sort of put that down to the last couple of weeks being quite emotional and the fact that we'd lost my mum. As the day went on, sort of, you know, we started to feel a bit sleepy and everything. I remember dishing up the dinner and sitting down for dinner in the kitchen with everybody, and my daughter, who was 6 at the time, just couldn't hold her head up. She wouldn't eat her dinner, she was sort of very lethargic, head on the table. But we'd all got headaches. My stepsister felt slightly dizzy, but again, just put it down to time of the year, the emotions that we were probably going through for the day. So after dinner, after we'd cleared everything up, we decided that we were going to have a sit down together. I thought I'd give my daughter some medicine. For whatever reason that day, I could not find the medicine I normally had at my mum's. So I took her home. I decided that no, she felt bad enough. We were going to come home, I'd dose her up, and hopefully the cold would pass. The 3 of us got home, we fell asleep on the sofas, woke up about an hour later not feeling any better. I mean, I'd got a thumping headache, just couldn't sort of shift it or anything like that. A bit later on the day, we were sort of showering, getting ready for the evening, and I had a phone call from my stepfather to say that they'd have found a gas leak. So just something in the back of my mind with the symptoms and knowing that the gas had been faulty, or the boiler had been faulty, just made me Google our symptoms, and carbon monoxide poisoning came up. So I rang 111. They were really, really good. They rang us straight back and said that they thought we'd probably had carbon monoxide poisoning. So they decided that we ought to go to the hospital. We went off to the hospital. I picked my stepsister up and they did the tests for us. They took arterial blood from both me and my stepsister, and we were both found to have quite bad carbon monoxide poisoning. My stepsister had 70% carbon monoxide in her bloodstream and I had 30%. Luckily, the children weren't that affected. They were kept in just as a precaution. We were both put on oxygen, and my stepfather came over. He had absolutely no symptoms whatsoever and was adamant that he wasn't going to come to the hospital. He did, and he had 50% carbon monoxide in his blood system at the time. So he was put straight on oxygen as well, and we were in hospital for overnight. He was released later the following day. And my stepsister, she was in hospital for a good 5 days. Following day, the gas board came out. My mum and stepfather had always had their boiler serviced yearly. They had a contract, they came out and serviced it every year. They had, unfortunately, missed one service purely because of the chemotherapy that my mum was going through at the time. It coincided with that, so they delayed it, and under the circumstances it was just something that they hadn't then got round to doing. The gas board came out and tested all the appliances, because to start off with they were saying it couldn't be carbon monoxide due to the fact that they could smell gas. The engineer did the open fire, he tested the oven, and then when he tested the boiler, that went straight off the scale with carbon monoxide. And they say the only reason that they were able to smell something was because of some soot in the pipes. So the boiler was condemned and it was replaced within 2 or 3 working days. I think the reason I want people to realise how scary carbon monoxide poisoning is and how dangerous it is because you can't smell it. I mean, we were extremely lucky that day. Had we stayed longer in the house, I'm not sure that we'd be here to tell the story. And the symptoms are so like having a cold or having flu that I just think people need to realise that there are other things behind this, because the headaches and the symptoms are just indescribable when you actually do get the monoxide poisoning. It isn't something you'd want anybody to experience. Saw Project Shout advertising or on the TV, telling everybody about what had happened to various people and things like that. And I just thought something that I could do to make people aware of the dangers of carbon monoxide poisoning and how important it is to have a monitor or monitors in your house to keep your family safe. Me and my family were lucky, others haven't been. The advice I'd give people for carbon monoxide is to make sure that you have your appliances serviced every year. Make sure they're all checked, not just your boiler, but your gas appliances, any wood burning stoves, fuel burning stoves or anything like that. And above all, spend that £15–20 on a carbon monoxide alarm because it will save your life. Carbon monoxide poisoning does kill. That's the end of it. You are very lucky if you survive severe carbon monoxide poisoning. The symptoms are so like a flu-like symptom, but they are indescribable. The headaches that you get with it are extremely painful, and they are something that I wouldn't want anybody to experience.